Hey guys, welcome back to my Formula One post-qualifying commentary videos. This weekend, the F1 circus has come back to Bahrain, and with that, they also brought along the elimination-style format for qualifying, which was brought back after a very excellent showing at Australia. Of course, that's sarcasm. I hope I don't have to tell you that. But of course, we had it again this weekend, and it was just as dreadful, if not worse, than it was in Australia. Two friends of mine were watching it with me. They were confused as usual, shocked, appalled, and one friend in particular had never seen it before, and she had no idea what the heck was going on. But anyway, let's run through the qualifying positions. Hamilton and Rosberg seal out the front row for Mercedes, with Vettel and Raikkonen in the Ferraris taking the second row. Ricciardo, Bottas, Massa, Hülkenberg, Grosjean, and Verstappen close out the top 10. The two Haas cars qualified decently, both in making it to Q2, Grosjean in 9th and Esteban Gutierrez in 13th, but probably one of the bigger stories of this qualifying was the fact that Pascal Wehrlein in the Manor was able to make it to 16th, over 2 seconds faster than the person in last place, Felipe Nasr, which was also a bit of a shock considering that Sauber had decent pace. I mean, Ericsson qualified 17th, but in the end, we've seen Sauber doesn't have the development money, so their car is struggling a little bit. The two Renaults were unable to make it out of the first phase of qualifying, Kevin Magnussen qualifying 19th and Jolyon Palmer qualifying 20th. And the rookie for this weekend, because as you will know, for McLaren, Fernando Alonso was not racing this weekend due to the crash that happened in Australia. In his place is Stoffel Van Dorn, the current GP2 champion, who made it into Q2 and qualified himself 12th, 2 positions in front of his vastly more experienced teammate in Jenson Button. And this just goes to confirm that Stoffel Van Dorn is a huge talent in the Formula One world. I can't wait to see him when he has a full-time drive, either next year or the year after that, but he is a budding talent in the F1 circus. So let's talk a little bit more about how qualifying was, what my thoughts were, and honestly, you guys already knew how I felt about the qualifying format. You knew that I thought it was dreadful. And nothing changed. Absolutely nothing changed. In Q2, with 7 minutes left, only one car was out on track, and that was Nico Hülkenberg, who was only out because he was trying to avoid elimination. I mean, it is exciting in a sense, but at the same time, you want all the cars out on track, and that is exactly what we had with the past qualifying format. So honestly, I think that the FOM, the strategy group, they have no choice but to reintroduce the old qualifying format because the fans are just being screwed over because they're the ones that are paying their TV licenses to watch Channel 4. They're paying to watch Sky. They're paying to go watch the races. So they're the ones that hate this new format the most. But anyway, let's not start beating a dead horse with a stick because we all know what the new format is and we all know that it is shocking. Let me start talking a little bit about what I think the race is going to be like tomorrow. We saw yet again the Mercedes had pretty decent pace, but that in the end it didn't really factor into the race that much in Australia because it seemed that the Ferraris had excellent starts, and before that red flag in Australia, they were able to dictate the pace. I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that tomorrow because the Ferraris, as we know, they're very good on tire degradation. They have two very smooth drivers in Raikkonen and Vettel. And in my opinion, tomorrow we're going to see a very good battle between Ferrari and Mercedes because the qualifying results, I think, were a little... They're not very indicative of the race pace because they're out on super softs, they're running for 1 full lap, and some of the commentators, including David Coulthard, were saying that the Ferraris do not have the blazing pace. They don't have the engine power over 1 lap, but they're more powerful throughout the race as compared to Mercedes. So we'll see if that actually translates into better race pace, but what we do know is that the Ferraris had a much better start in Australia. I'm pretty sure that we're going to continue to see that in Bahrain and probably throughout the rest of the season unless Mercedes makes some tweaks to their launching system. Another racer that I think needs to be mentioned for today's performance was Daniel Ricciardo, who was able to qualify his car onto 5th position. And the Red Bulls are showing that despite the probably underpowered Renault engine, they have a very good aerodynamic package as usual because we know the genius that is Adrian Newey. I was just surprised to see Daniel Kvyat struggling so much and wasn't able to make it into the last phase. But I think with Ricciardo, Red Bull have a very solid driver, and they put themselves in a position to build upon their performance because I don't think anyone went into the season expecting to see Red Bull challenging the Ferraris and Mercedes, but they're up there. They're with the Williams cars, and we know that Red Bull has the funds to continue to develop. The only question mark will always remain their engine because we know they have the aerodynamic capability. We know who's building this car. So we'll see how that progresses throughout the season. And talking about Red Bull, let's move to their sister team, Toro Rosso, Max Verstappen yet again was able to qualify in front of Carlos Sainz, so I think this is really going to fuel the feud that has formed between the two, especially in the last race where Verstappen was shouting that Sainz needed to let him pass because he was holding him up, all that stuff. But if this continues, the two Toro Rosso cars are really, really close to each other, so I think we're going to see a lot of interesting racing from the Toro Rossos and in general from the whole middle of the pack, because we've seen that the times are so close together. All the teams are competitive. They're all vying for points. And I'm very excited to see how that pans out tomorrow. And on that note, guys, I'm going to leave you. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow for the race in Bahrain.